Hello dear friends, myself Professor Badri Rishikesh and you are watching BSc Botany Studies Classes channel. Here we are going to discuss about in this lecture of FY BSc Plant Life and Utilization first part, that is semester first, paper first you can say indirectly. In that we are going to discuss the first chapter. So this chapter is a general outline of classification of plant kingdom. So I am presenting you the syllabus in which you will find the first chapter includes mainly about the plant kingdom description. Whatever information you should have about plant kingdom, that much information is asked in this chapter. This chapter will be very interesting because I will tell you which are the key points you have to remember with respect to the exam point of view. After watching this lecture, the whole idea about plant kingdom will be very clear in your mind. So I would request you to please pay attention in this lecture. So further wasting too much time, let's get started about the plant kingdom study. Okay friends, so according to the kingdom system classification, they have given you, the old system was saying that there were 5 kingdom of classification. Now it is 6 kingdom. So how? Let's see. First of all, you have to know there are 2 types of organism. First of all, you have eukaryotic. Eukaryotic type of organism and prokaryotic type of organism. Only 2 types of organisms are present on this planet Earth. Please try to understand what I am trying to tell you. Only 2 types of organisms are there. On the basis of which type of cell they have, eukaryotic and prokaryotic. So there is difference between these 2 words. Pro means very primitive. Karyote means nucleus. Primitive nucleus means you can say the cell which do not have nucleus. And eukaryotic means U means developed. Karyote means nucleus. So there are 2 types of cell in which one cell will show presence of nucleus and another cell will show absence of nucleus. So absence of nucleus cell showing bacterial type of cells. So on that basis we have kingdom system. We have 6 kingdoms. How? Let's discuss about this. So we have 2 types of organisms, we have already said. Out of these 2 type of organism, one kingdom is dedicated to prokaryote. Only one kingdom is included in prokaryote. That is kingdom Monera. So in prokaryote you only have Monera kingdom. That's it. So rest of the other kingdom are belonging to the eukaryotic cell containing organism. So which are these? First of all we have Protista. Protista kingdom belonging to the eukaryote. I have made the distinction line here for sake of convenience. Kingdom Protista belonging to the eukaryote. Don't get confused between prokaryote and Protista. That sounds similar, but they are different. Okay. So we have another kingdom, that is kingdom Fungi, which is also belonging to the eukaryote. Then we have kingdom Plantae, that is also eukaryote. Then we have kingdom Animalia, that is also eukaryote. So the diagram is very simple and very clear. So already I have said that we have to study 6 kingdoms, and you will find there are only 5 kingdoms I have drawn here. This diagram is belonging to the old kingdom system of classification. Now it is shown that the kingdom system of classification is updated after 90s, means near to the 2000 they have updated the kingdom system. What they have updated, I will use different chalk. They have shown the updation, that is the kingdom Monera they have divided into 2 kingdoms. Kingdom Monera is divided into 2 kingdoms. Archaebacteria and Eubacteria. Everything is revolving around this. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kingdoms of classification. Already I have mentioned that we are going to discuss about the 6 kingdoms of classification. Now we have understood which are these 6 kingdoms. So you can say prokaryotic self-containing organisms only have 2 kingdoms. Only 2 kingdoms are there. And eukaryotic self-containing organisms have 4 kingdoms. Prokaryotic self-containing organisms have 2 kingdoms. So the diagram is very scientific. You cannot write anything anywhere. So means you cannot write protista here, you cannot write fungi here. Why? So this is very much logical with respect to the evolutionary point of view. Try to understand. The age of this planet is almost around 4.5 billion year old. Billion means what? 1000 means 30. Millions means 60. Billions means 90. And already we have said 4.5 billion year old age of this planet Earth. The first organism occurred on the planet almost around 3.5 billion years ago. So what is this billion year means? We have to understand this. The life on this planet have started 3.5 billion years ago. Means tremendous time has been passed. The first organism was Eubacteria. These bacteria are evolved into Archaebacteria, but they are prokaryotic. These Archaebacteria are evolved into Protista. Protista are eukaryotic, somewhat bigger in size, you can say. Then these Protista are divided or evolved into different kingdom, Animalia, Plantae and Fungi, you can see. The example, if you are interested to study, the examples are very much famous and everyone know about the examples. So if anyone asks you about the examples, the bacteria kingdom consists examples such as E. coli. So first of all, many students will ask the question, both are the bacteria. Both are the bacteria. Then what is the difference between Eubacteria and Archaebacteria? What will be the difference? So Eubacteria are those bacteria. Please understand, listen carefully what I am trying to tell you. I will redraw this in proper manner. Should not write Archaebacteria below because they are evolved bacteria, you can say. The Eubacteria example is very famous, that is E. coli, Escherichia coli. Whereas Archaebacteria are those bacteria who occur at extreme places. Extreme places means where you will find absence of oxygen, where you will find very much heat, where you have too much coldness, means minus 50 degrees Celsius or you can say temperature beyond 72 degrees Celsius. At that area, these types of bacteria are living. Those are evolved bacteria. Evolution in this bacteria with respect to their plasma membrane. So what is the evolution is not point of discussion here. Just remember, these bacteria are occur in extreme conditions. Extreme means absence of oxygen. No one can live there. These Archaebacteria can live there. Eubacteria generally occur in common places. Means wherever on the tip of needle you will find Eubacteria which are growing in thousands in number. Okay, so these are the bacteria which are present. We have seen. Then we have to see the example of Protista. Protista are very famous and you must have studied about amoeba. You must have studied Euglena. These are the example of Protista. One more example I would like to add here. You must have understood what I am trying to tell you, that algae also belonging to the kingdom Protista. Remember this and write somewhere, because many times students make confusion about the occurrence of algae or presence of algae. They shows that algae belong to kingdom Plantae. No. Kingdom Plantae will have other types of plants. Algae is not a plant, it is a Protista. So fungi we have different examples. In case of fungi, we have mushroom, trichoderma like examples. Animalia we will have many examples like dog. A remaining kingdom, that is kingdom Plantae, is the point of discussion we have to focus in this lecture. So in case of Plantae, you will have many examples such as mango plant, sunflower plant, Cara plant, what do we say, Equisetum plant. So these types of plants may be present. You don't have to worry about the examples right now because we are going to discuss about the kingdom Plantae in a detail. Now I will just wipe out this. We will discuss about kingdom Plantae now. Okay, so we are going to discuss about kingdom Plantae. Kingdom Plantae consists two types of plants. Means what? We have generally plants which are growing in our backyard, around the streets, in our gardens. These types of all the plants are categorized into two categories. That is lower plant and another category is higher plant. So what is lower and what is higher? Means what? The plant which have primitive body organization. No doubt they are plant, but they have immature type of root, improper developed leaves or improper developed stem. Then you will have to categorize them into the lower plant category. No doubt they are plant, but body organization is primitive, or you can say body organization is simple. That's why they are lower. If the body organization is well developed, then they are higher plants. So in lower plant you have, or you can say, lower plants are called as cryptogams. Lower plants are known as cryptogams, whereas the higher plants are known as phanerogams. So you must have studied about the cryptogams and phanerogams in your 11th and 12th. Here we are going to discuss in more elaborated fashion about the cryptogam and phanerogram. Crypto means somewhat lowerly organized, and phanero means what? Which are containing generally seeds. That's why these phanerogram are also known as spermatophytes. Okay, so we have phanerogams which are alternatively known as spermatophytes. In your question paper, they will ask you, give the descriptive characters of spermatophytes. At that time, you should not get confused that you have studied about cryptogam and phanerogram, from where these spermatophytes came. So spermatophytes are the alternative name of the phanerogams. Generally, why that name is changed? Because phanero means flower containing plants, but not all plants shows flower. That is the problem. But all our plants we are organized in this category shows seeds. That's why the spermatophyte is more proper word as compared to the phanerogams. Okay. In cryptogam we have three different groups. Which are groups? We have thallophyte, we have bryophyte, we have pteridophyte. I have to write full word because there is a limitation of space. Okay, we have thallophyte, we have bryophyte, we have pteridophyte, which comes under the cryptogam category. Now in spermatophyte you have only two categories. Which are these? Gymnosperm category and angiosperm categories. So these gymnosperm and angiosperm are considered as most advanced plant on this planet Earth. Again, this angiosperm is divided into monocot and dipot category. So currently 2021, the most advanced plant on this planet Earth are considered as monocot. So if you talk about in a detail about the classification of this kingdom Plantae, there are various classification system. You will notice that this Thallophyte have example of algae. Now you will get confused because you will say that sir, you have said that algae belong to the kingdom Protista. Why you are writing the algae here? Because algae contain chlorophyll pigment. Algae have cell wall which is made up of cellulose, which is very same as compare with if you compare with the plant. That's why algae are considered as a father of the plant. So that's why we have to study algae somewhere, because you cannot neglect algae. You cannot say algae not belonging to the kingdom Plantae, we will not study about algae because it belongs to the kingdom Protista. No. Somewhere you have to study about the algae. That's why we have organized the algae here in Thallophyte. Then you have fungi, which we have to study in Thallophyte. Now you will say, sir, fungi is separate kingdom, and also still you are studying about the fungi in kingdom Plantae. You are making confused. You are making confusion in our mind. No. As I have said, the fungi also have the cell wall. That's why this is the one reason because somewhere you have to study about the fungi. In animal kingdom, you do not study about the fungi. If you do not study fungi in plant kingdom also, then no one will get the knowledge about the fungi. Somewhere it has to study it. You can say it is our privilege that we are getting knowledge of fungi also. Then we have combination of algae and fungi, that is we call it as lichen. So what is the lichen? We will study separately. Okay. So lower plant we have these three groups, higher plant we have these two groups. Again, angiosperm are divided into dipot and monocot. If you want to study about each and every example, we will study each and every category in a detail. First we will discuss about the Thallophyte. Then we will discuss about the Bryophyte, then Pteridophyte, Gymnosperm and Angiosperm. So I will just wipe out this. We will discuss Thallophyte first. Okay, so just we have said that we are going to discuss about the Thallophyte. Thallophyte means what? Phyte means plant. Thallo means thallus. Thallus-like body containing plant. Thallus means what? First of all, that is the question. Thallus means no proper organization of body structure. Means what? Proper organization of body showing presence of root, presence of stem, presence of leaves. But absence of root, absence of stem, absence of leaves shows thallus-like body organization. In Thallophyte, you will find the plants such as, although algae are not the plant, but we will have to study algae as an example of Thallophyte, in which we have Spirogyra, we have BGA, blue-green algae. So generally what happens, we study about the algae, but in that algae we study about this bacteria. So see how complicated this is. First of all, you have to remember that algae is not the plant and blue-green algae is not the Protista. Okay, algae belonging to the kingdom Protista. It is not a plant. Still we are studying algae in the kingdom plant. Another important point is blue-green algae, BGA, that is the bacteria, which is not belonging to kingdom Protista. Still we are studying the bacteria into kingdom Plantae. So okay, what I am trying to tell you here is that we have to study all these points together because these are very valuable and applicable. So algae particular characteristics are, they are containing chlorophyll pigment. They are the first photosynthetic organism on this planet. More interesting story I would like to tell you here is that on this planet Earth, the oxygen percentage initially was only around 0.5%. Means 0.5% oxygen is not sufficient for living purpose. Today at 2020, the oxygen percentage 21.1% around. Oxygen percentage on this planet Earth is almost 21% around. This much oxygen we have to have access for living purpose. If oxygen percentage decreases, then definitely the life on this planet will vanish. Day by day oxygen percentage is increasing. Why? The plants are producing this oxygen. And algae were the first who have started to produce oxygen. Okay, so they are autotrophic, photosynthetic, chlorophyll containing, thallus-like organization. These algae are found as branched as well as unbranched. And most importantly, these algae occur in shallow water. Shallow water means what? Where the depth of water is very less, sunlight should fall on the ground, but it is covered by the water. That is the compulsion. Why water is necessary for algae? Then another question arises. Water is required for reproduction in algae. In algae, they reproduces by sexually and asexually. Asexually they produces by aplanospore formation, whereas sexually they reproduces by either isogamous type of reproduction or oogamous type of reproduction. I would say don't worry about these words, because in a separate chapter, that is algae, second chapter, we are going to discuss more about the algae. Here I would like to tell you about just the brief introduction information about the thallophyte, because each group we will have to discuss. Okay, so I think you must have understood about the first member of the thallophyte, that is the algae. Example Spiromyra and blue green algae you have to study. Then we have second member in thallophyte, that is the fungi. Now who are the fungi? Fungi are heterotrophic, saprophytic. These are do not producing chlorophyll pigment. Then why we are studying these fungi in Plantae? Because they contain cell wall. But the composition of cell wall is very different in fungi. The composition of cell wall in fungi is chitin, as well as they reproduce sexually as well as asexually. Example already I have told you, that is mushroom. There are tremendous examples available about the fungi, Trichoderma, Aspergillus, yeast. Like example, you can study about the fungi. Fungi are eukaryotic, you have to remember this. Okay. So then third member in thallophyte we have lichen. I would like to tell you that we have separate chapter on algae, we have separate chapter on fungi, we have separate chapter on lichen. So don't worry about this. I am just telling you the brief introductory information because chapter is introductory. Lichen is the composition of algae and fungi. They live symbiotically and they helps each other in mutualistically, and lichen are of different types. So lichen generally are considered as very important indicator in nature about pollution. Wherever you have lichen, it means the area is non-polluted. So lichen we have different types of example with respect to their uses. So we will discuss more about the lichen wherever the chapter we will discuss about the lichen. It was regarding the thallophytes. Now we will discuss about the bryophytes. Correct. We have separate chapter of bryophyte also. So in that chapter they have given that which are the different classes of this bryophyte. Bryophytes are generally categorized into three major categories. Bryophytes are categorized into three major categories on the basis of their sporophytic occurrence. Try to write in your notebook that on what basis bryophytes are classified, on the basis of their sporophyte development. Okay, so bryophytes are the plants which are considered as plant amphibian. They are the first true plant, you can say, because they have started to live outside the water, but they cannot live beyond the water means they have to have the area where water is available, but they do not grow inside the water. As like algae should grow inside the water. Bryophyte grow aside the water. So are you understanding what I am trying to tell you? They require water for reproduction, no doubt. Bryophyte require water for various purposes. We will discuss in a chapter wherever they are required. Mercantia like Anthoceras like bryophytes are the very famous examples where we will discuss more about the bryophyte. Already I have recorded the lecture on bryophyte. You can watch that lecture. Also I have recorded the lecture on lichen also. So in FYBC playlist you will find those lectures. This chapter is dedicated for introductory point of view. So we have just in bryophyte. Let's discuss about the third cryptogram, that is pteridophyte. Pteridophytes are the plants which are very much famous because their appearance is such that they are the first plant which are containing the sporophytic body organization. Because bryophytic body organization is gametophytic. You will have to point out these points because this is very important. Bryophytic plant body showing gametophytic appearance, whereas pteridophytic plant body is having sporophytic appearance. This is evolution. Because we are discussing all these points with respect to the evolutionary point of view. So pteridophyte we have plants, alternation of generation we can see where sporophytic plant body is showing major portion of the life cycle and gametophytic plant body is showing less portion of life cycle. You will come to know more about the pteridophyte wherever we will discuss about the pteridophyte. Most famous example of pteridophyte is Nephrolepis. I would like to tell you one famous story about the pteridophyte, that when dinosaurs were ruling this planet almost around 22 crore years ago, dinosaurs were living on this planet. At that time, no flowering plant was there. Only bryophytic and pteridophytic plants were present. Bryophyte, they grow around the water, aside the water. But pteridophyte require very less water. They can go further water where water availability is less. That's why most of the land area were covered by this pteridophytic plant body. So these plants were the witnesses of dinosaur, you can say. And these plants were the plants who have started to produce spatial structure from where spores started to release. Don't worry about this, we will discuss about which are the structures. Now we have seen the cryptogams. In these cryptogams we have seen thallophyte, bryophyte and pteridophyte. Now let's discuss about the higher plants or spermatophyte or phanerogams, you can say. That is the gymnosperm. After watching this lecture, whole idea of plant kingdom will be clear in your mind. So gymnosperm are the plant which containing or producing the seeds without producing the flower. Means in gymnosperm we do not have flower. No. But yes, they produce seeds. So how it is possible? Without producing seed, without producing flower, because flower is ultimately going to produce fruit. And in that fruit you will have the seed. So no flower, although they have seed. For production of the seed, they contain spatial structure which are known as cones. They contain spatial structure which are known as cones, male cone and female cone. So in gymnosperm also you will have pollination process. This is very interesting. In angiosperm you must have studied about the pollination which is taken place by birds, which takes place by water, which takes place by wind, takes place by bat or various animal, because they have flower. But in gymnosperm we do not have flower, still they shows pollination process. And very interestingly, gymnosperm pollination takes almost 1 year. So they are very slow growing plants. They generally attain particular height. For growing 1 feet, gymnosperm plant require almost 10 to 15 years. So you can imagine how slow and steady they are. Success rate of gymnosperm is less as compared to the angiosperm. So we will discuss more about gymnosperm wherever it is necessary. The example is very famous, that is cycas. Okay, so we have seen the gymnosperm. Now let's discuss about the last member of the kingdom Plantae, that is very important and very major, angiosperms. This sperms name came because spermatophytes they are belonging. Gymnosperm, angiosperm, why? They are spermatophytes. Okay, gymno means open and angio means closed. So angiosperm produces flower, which produces fruit. Inside it we have seed. Flower they have pollination. Seeds they have seed dispersion. Angiosperm are the most successful plants on this planet Earth. Angiosperm you have a dicot and monocot. Dicot and monocot types of plants are there on this planet, in which monocots are more successful as compared to the dicot. Dicot plants are those plants which are generally mango, eucalyptus. Monocot plants are generally grass containing plants. So you must have studied about the C3 plant and C4 plant mechanism in your 12th plant physiology chapter. So I would like to ask you the question, whether dicot are C3 plant or C4 plant, or monocot are C3 plant or C4 plant. If you have watched this video up to here, feel free to comment in comment section about your answer. I will be very happy that students are also taking care about their syllabus. Okay. Angiosperm plant are dicot and monocot plant, but story does not end here. We will have to study angiosperm plant in very detail, because on this planet Earth, most successful plants are angiosperm plant. So we will discuss more about the angiosperm when we study the actual chapter of the angiosperm. Up till I have discussed thallophyte, bryophyte, pteridophyte, gymnosperm and angiosperm, which are belonging to plant kingdom. In thallophyte we have discussed about algae and fungi and lichen. All these points containing separate chapter, you don't have to worry, but you should remember that they are belonging to the kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Plantae belonging to the eukaryotic category. So we have seen 6 major kingdom system classification, detail about plant kingdom system. I think you must have understood something out of this lecture. So feel free to subscribe and comment below the video. Thank you for your time. We will meet in upcoming chapter. Bye.